Hello everybody and welcome back to the Grid Watchers podcast, episode number 26 of the podcast series. My name is Ollie and I will be your host for this evening's listening, and today I'm joined as usual by Causa, Rickson and December. We will be reviewing the Australian Grand Prix that happened this weekend, some great moments, some bad moments and some controversy as always in the world of F1. We will also be talking about the beef between Hamilton and Vettel fans on Twitter, and it's always very toxic, so we do have a little chat about that. Of course, we'll be previewing the Bahrain Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time, so let us know your thoughts on the whole race. Driver of the day, Dick of the day, we are also now doing. Let us know in the comment section below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on iTunes, just let us know on Twitter somehow, that would be great. So if you are listening on iTunes, thank you. We're really pushing the iTunes sort of thing at the moment, trying to get as popular as we can. So if you are enjoying, share it out, tell your friends, tell your family, dog, cat, whatever you want to tell. Go and tell them, be great, and share it out if you do so. If you do enjoy it, do that, and hopefully you do enjoy it, because it's a good one this evening. It's a lot of funny moments and some great topics as usual, and I'll see you in a little bit. Hello everybody and welcome back to the podcast, and this evening I'm joined by a salty Mercedes fan, a jubilant McLaren fan, and I guess slightly disappointed Red Bull fan. It is Rickson, Causa and Semba. How are you all doing this evening?
I'm ecstatic. I'm so happy. Rickson, how are you doing this evening?
I'm not as bad as people would think. Yeah, not that.
No, not quite as sorry. No, fair enough. No, fair enough.
I think I'm in worse shape because both of your drivers did better than mine.
Yeah.
That's
very true.
That's very true. Yeah, of course, the Australian Grand Prix today, and I don't know whether I really enjoyed it because it was a good race or because F1 was back. I'm sort of debating between the two at the moment. But I guess it was if you look at, there was a lot more overtakes than last year, was the important thing. But it was a decent race, wasn't it, guys?
I would say it was. I would say it was a decent race. If you compare it to last year, it was an absolutely amazing race. But I would say, in terms of what we saw last season, it was a really good race.
Let me put it this way. If it would have been at 2 p.m, I wouldn't have minded. But it wasn't worth waking up for at stupid o'clock.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
But it started off so good. Like we were tweeting in the group chat. Like it's all going off like 3 overtakes in the first 2 minutes. That was more than the same as last season. And then it all just went downhill.
Yeah, it was a good start. I actually missed the start because I was in the middle of making a coffee, so I was joined midway through sector 2 and saw Max had lost the place, which annoyed me slightly. But yeah, it was. I think in general it wasn't a bad race, and of course there's always controversy about the virtual safety car, which we'll go straight into. And it seemed it was. So I initially thought it was an issue with Hamilton's sort of dashboard, but actually it was Mercedes had an issue, and it allowed, I think he wasn't going quick enough, so it allowed Vettel to pit under virtual safety car and take the lead of the race. Really,
I don't know. For me, it just seems like Mercedes are making excuses as to why they lost that race. When in fairness, I think it was sort of potluck that it coincided exactly when Vettel was going to pit.
Yeah, there was nothing. It was just perfect timing from when the safety car came out. There was literally nothing Hamilton could have done because he couldn't have gone any quicker. That was just that he was just really kind of unfortunate that it fell that way. And although Lewis, this has played a part when he was closing him up, and then he locked up his front left and clipped the grass a bit, and then just lost 2 seconds. And I think when we got to that stage, even I was like, yeah, he'll probably just settle for second now. But you can understand why he was so pissed off once the race had finished. But I think for me anyway, thinking back now, it's the first race of the season, and he looked mighty quick compared to Vettel. So yeah, I'm still feeling relatively pleased, but it's just a shame that the timing kind of screwed him over a bit.
I'm a bit in the middle on this. I think, like you were saying, Rickson, it's just bad timing, and that Ferrari made a good strategy call, which they did eventually. Also, I believe Mercedes side of things because Hamilton was running away a bit. Oh no, wait, he was catching Vettel at a certain point because he was losing quite some time per lap, which that automatically he would resume the race after pit stops in second. So I was a bit surprised when he came out in first, and I was like, "Oh right, it worked."
Well, he'd have come up behind Kimi, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would have. Yeah.
So in fairness, I feel worse for Kimi than I do for Lewis.
Oh, Kimi got robbed every week, but
he was
because Lewis can beat Vettel in the fact that I think Hamilton's in a faster car, so that's fine. Whereas Kimi beating Vettel in the same car is way more of an achievement.
Yeah, it would be bad PR, I think.
Yeah, potentially.
I mean, he looked at Kimi on the podium. He was not happy at all. He wanted to get out of there as quickly as possible, and as well in the press conference, he wasn't very happy. And I'm not surprised when he was ultimately quicker than Vettel the whole weekend for the first time in a long time, and then he gets dicked over with the pit stops.
But like everyone's like, "Ooh, Iceman," he's just cool on the podium and in interviews. That's how he is. But this wasn't cool anymore. It wasn't Iceman cool. It was just proper pissed off. Like, have you seen the GIF where Vettel wants to spray champagne on him?
Yeah,
and
that's the one. Yeah.
He gives him a look like, "Don't you dare!"
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's your teammate. You just came first and third, and you're like, you just want to get the hell out of there. You don't do that unless you've got some issues somewhere. And I think he's got some issues with what's his face, Arriva Bene.
Probably, but he could have left. And actually, in fairness, if he'd have left, he wouldn't have joined a decent team.
If he would have left, nobody would hire him because he's pretty old now.
Last season for Raikkonen, you think?
No. I'll give him a couple more. There isn't enough young talent that's worthy of a drive.
Give Leclerc a couple of seasons and then he'll slot right into that spot. But I think, in fairness, it sets us up perfectly for the season because Hamilton next race, will absolutely... What's the next race? Bahrain? China?
Yeah, Bahrain.
He'll absolutely destroy Bahrain in response to this week, so then that will set the championship up nicely. If Raikkonen legitimately has as much pace as Vettel this year, that then sets the championship up nicely. Red Bull will be looking in response, so that sets it up nicely. So I think we're looking for a good season.
I mean, yeah, hopefully.
It's the first race, mate. It's the first race.
I'm getting excited.
We've seen nothing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like Rickson, it is the first race, and we all got excited last year. I know last year wasn't great, but we still got excited, and the season was rubbish. So I think we're going to have to wait until at least China to say if it's going to be a good or bad season. Because of course, China, Bahrain, and Australia are all three completely different tracks. So I think that will really tell what the season's going to be like, and hopefully it's a good one. But last year wasn't great, so we'll have to wait and see. There's slight differences, but yeah, we'll see.
I can see where cause is coming from though, because say it stays like this, same as last season, like Hamilton, Vettel. Fine, I can live with that. It's their battle. They're the top two drivers at the moment, I would say. But then after that, you got Raikkonen and Ricciardo. And just for fun, I'm going to throw Max in there. That means up until P5, you got at least some battles normally. And then the midfield is actually a lot closer than it was last season. That's why I'm still enthusiastic about the season.
Yeah.
But ask me again after China, and after China, I'm just going to say it's going to be a rubbish season again.
After China? China?
Yeah,
where's China, Ken?
I was going to say something, but it's going to.
Do you mean you're going to say Shanghai and China both at the same time? Ended up in China.
It's not as bad as Melbourne, so
or Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
Can I make a bold statement though?
Go on.
Australia.
Bold statements.
Ditch the track. It's rubbish.
It is. It's such a shit track to start the fucking season on.
Yeah.
I can't believe it used to be the finale as well.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did.
How and why? At least the cars weren't the size of a fucking lorry then, so maybe that helped.
Yeah.
We got to remember that the finale at the moment is Abu Dhabi as opposed to Brazil, and you're a bit like, why?
I personally think that should stay. In the modern era, you want to go to somewhere like that rather.
I guess they put on a show more than Interlagos.
Yeah, that is
especially true. Now that Liberty Media are taking their full grip or whatever on the sport.
They are Americanizing it, so it might be
Exactly.
USA for season finale in a few
It wouldn't
seasons.
be. I don't think they would ever take it that far. But I think on top of the new theme and everything, I think it's definitely, for me anyway, I definitely think it's going to bring more audiences in now the way it is compared to what it was.
Essentially, yeah.
What do we think of the theme tune? I quite like it, to be fair.
I love it musically.
It's growing on me.
Yeah,
Bit like the F1 logo.
I'm the same with you, Alex. The first time I heard it, I was like, I'm not sure. But then I realised what we had before, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's better than what we had before, and it's definitely kind of it sums up the sport in like a song. I know that sounds a little bit cheesy, but it does.
It
like
does.
high action,
Got a point.
you know, quite quick tempo, you know.
Yeah.
The reason why I liked it is just it's stupid, but it's just because you recognize it. Like for the past few seasons, every time you hear that, you know, the thing that's in the game as well, you just went like, "Oh, Formula One's on, better get down," and now it's suddenly a new theme tune, and you're like, "Eh." And then
but it is an absolute banger. Like
It is
definitely take my top off and dance in.
Yeah.
front. You know what I mean?
I said it to Causer as well. Like in just 2 days, so just qualifying and the race, so just 2 times I've heard it. It actually grown on me, and I really like. I was listening to it in my car because I actually like it.
That's a bit sad.
I'm just waiting for it to pop off in a club now and everyone going mad. But
What?
The thing is, everyone that starts dancing, you know, he's not an absolute dickhead, and you can start a conversation.
Talk about the Haas conspiracy theory, and with the way they bottled the Australian Grand Prix, both cars missing out because the Americans couldn't use their guns properly on the car. Yeah. I mean, how do you make? It was the same side as well, both left-sided wheels. I don't.
Yeah, left rear, left front.
I think Gene Haas said that they hadn't practiced enough with pit stops. Maybe they concentrated too much on the car development. That's what the quote I found about it. So it's annoying. It's good for. I guess it's good for us because December, because Red Bull progressed further up the field because Haas went, but they had a really good chance for a good haul of points today.
I mean, I think personally they should have got the wheel guns from Ferrari as well, because then they may have actually worked.
Yeah.
As opposed to the whole car, to get them as well.
But first I thought there was something else wrong with the car, because I thought like, nah, it can't be a wheel nut, or you know, these guys practice so much, and now I'm reading up on it, and it were the wheel nuts. They were cross-threaded, meaning the tire wasn't fixed correctly before each departed their pit box. So they didn't only make a mistake; they made the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird though, because I had no idea that even if a wheel's not on properly, the car starts smoking. Like,
no, that's because there's no air getting into the brakes, so there isn't any cooling getting into the brakes. That's why.
Because when Grosjean stopped, I thought that it had like an engine problem or like a
that was the brakes being at 1,000 degrees with no cooling.
Yeah, same. But that's what I was thinking, because it wasn't. I think it was for the first pit stop, but for the second one, it wasn't. Or the other way around. So you got 2 guys on each wheel, but then you also have 2 in the middle of the car that just look for damages. And they were the first ones to wave. So that's why I thought, engine failure.
Yeah, engine or suspension, which is what Magnussen thought it was.
Yeah. But apparently it the wheel nut was on, but cross-threaded. Fine, fancy words. But it just says here that doesn't tighten the wheel, but for the mechanic, it feels like it is.
Right.
So, but then why did they almost immediately start waving, going no? Because surely if it would have felt like it did.
Because the car was dropped then, and then you see that it's not on, but then it's too late to fix. Because the moment the car's dropped, boom, he's off.
Yeah. If that's your job, if you do that every single day, take off a wheel and put on another wheel, you're going to know if you've done something wrong or something's missing. You know, you're 100% going to know. You're
going to feel something different, because if it's cross threads but doesn't go all the way, you're going to tell that it was quicker putting it on. So, I don't know. These people spend hours and hours a day practicing.
Yeah.
You'd like to think they'd know immediately, but you don't know.
I think it's just bad luck, unfortunately, for Haas, because, you know, that car does look very, very good. You know, Magnussen was up in 4th for a long time until the pit stop phase. and before Max took a ballet
The
spin
scenic
into
route.
1 and 2. I think a lot of people on Twitter were saying, is he running 11 ballast on the car because Max. It looked like when he was driving around today, the car was all over the place. Imagine if it was a driver with less skill, he would have binned it in the wall.
Yeah.
Potentially, the car was constantly sideways. It just looked.
Yeah, they talked about it afterwards, after the race on Dutch TV as well. That if you were looking at it, so there's a team of ex or former racing drivers, and they all say like, you could look at the back end and realize it's gonna go wrong any minute now. Because you could also see like the Haas was just planted in the corners. He was really driving away from a car that's supposed to have the one of the best chassis around. So there you were like, something's wrong. Understeer, oversteer, everything in one single lap, and you're like, what the hell is wrong with this car? And then for a second, even me as a big Max fan thought like, he's driving on the edge. He's just driving like a pissed off teenager. He's gonna spin out, gonna realize it's wrong, or gonna realize he made a mistake, and then drive better. But the car was still unbalanced. And then they came over to team radio saying, yeah, we've got damage, and then that was it. They didn't transmit the rest of the team radio. So you're but what damage? Because of the spin? Before the spin?
Well, it was definitely going to be because of the spin. Surely,
Yeah.
because I reckon if he had a little crash with somebody, they
We'd
would
have
have
seen
shown it on some kind of television somewhere.
Yeah, but
You would have seen.
even
But going over that bump at that speed sideways will affect the car.
Really fuck up the
Yeah,
car.
because it will affect the underfloor.
And the
Yeah, but-
tyres, of course.
Yeah,
both
the
Red
tyres,
Bull
definitely.
and Verstappen both said that they could feel it before he spun.
Right.
I don't know. They
Maybe.
might be chatting shit there.
Yeah, maybe. Or it may have happened when he was going sideways on one of the curbs that it just deflected a bit off or whatever. But it just seemed like from Max, he was getting really irritated by being stuck behind this car and was then trying to get on the throttle that little bit earlier, trying to turn in that little bit earlier, whatever. And he was just losing the back end sometimes. So that might have been what it was.
Yeah. It was a bit annoying being, I thought Max was going to get on the podium. And I just looked at the predictions we made on Friday's podcast, and, well, I was miles off, as usual. With Hartley finished last, so that was my one out the window. But you and, I think Rickson got the top. Oh, no, because you both put Bottas up there, and Bottas finished fourth. No, was it 8th, I think?
8th, yeah.
Yeah, Bottas is had a nightmare really on this weekend. But I think we were all miles off, and I don't think anyone's ever had the prediction right so far.
Nope.
Since we've
I think I
predictions.
got like 3 out of 4 before or something. But that's about. I don't think anyone's got a whole week. So I guess that'd be it for the season. First one to get it right.
I did have it in Hungary, and then Hamilton let Bottas back through on the line, and I was gutted. I had it. I was like, yes, and then
And then that happened.
That was annoying. The next, go on.
Who did we have up there then, Duke? Did we both have Verstappen up there?
I think I had Verstappen, Ricardo, Hartley.
Hartley.
What
What kind of nonce picks Hartley?
Well, I was doing it purely because it was his technical home race, being from New Zealand.
Oh, and you felt bad, yeah.
I mean, we really had a chance to see Sorokin drive though. What class that man has got! He hasn't been on the camera once.
Although, to be fair to him, he did get really unfortunate with a plastic bag or whatever it was. Got caught in his car somewhere or something.
It was a rubbish bag that got sucked in the air vent or the brake vent.
All the things that's going to fuck you on your debut race.
Yeah.
A plastic Sainsbury's bag. I mean, fuck Sainsbury's, man. Honestly. Like, they're my supermarket of choice. But now, after I've discovered they've ruined Williams' race, I might have to move Tesco, maybe even Lidl, man. Like,
Lidl for life. Lidl for life.
I'm pretty sure Williams' race was.
Yes, exactly.
Anyways.
Yeah, I because my prediction at the start of the season was that Sorokin will just absolutely outclass Stroll, and in fairness, I still stand by that. But this race weekend, you can't really tell anything because they didn't really get to race together, did they? So that was a bit pointless.
Yeah, I think. I'm trying to think of the midfield. You had a great battle with Alonso, Sainz, Bottas and someone else.
Perez. I think it was Perez, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good little battle. That, to be fair, actually, that Force India is awful. They are miles off the pace.
It's got a ton of straight line speed, but aerodynamically, it just doesn't seem that great. They haven't improved the package as much.
Yeah, I'm not
So that's a bit disappointing.
Yeah, because he was so good last year. He was the best of the rest last year, and
I doubt they'll get any cheeky podiums this season. I really doubt it.
they didn't get a podium last year. Did
they didn't get a podium. That was the issue, wasn't it? It's because
yeah.
they kept crashing.
They would, of course, they would have got 2 in Baku, but they crashed twice. Didn't they? Yeah, that was a great race, but that was just a crash. That was like a destruction derby more than a real race.
Yeah. And they'd have got one in Canada as well, but they just wouldn't let each other pass, and it was an absolute.
No, of course. Yeah. One thing I did want to talk about is let us know your thoughts on the whole race in the comment section below as well. I'd love to read the comments that we do get on these videos. And yeah, I just want to talk about the beef on Twitter because of course Hamilton got pole on Saturday, and all the Vettel fans were like, "Oh, he's using this party mode and it's extra boost or something." And then of course Vettel won today, and everyone was saying, "Oh, Haas is all a conspiracy theory," and I think it's just so toxic on social media between Vettel and Hamilton. I think it's silly, really. Both had luck go their way, and that's the end of it. It shouldn't go any deeper than that.
But the thing is, did you see the press conference after the race?
I did, yeah.
It's that neither of them together have any sort of toxic relationship. It's purely the fans.
No, the media do it to make the sport more entertaining.
Yeah, the media do it as well, and because the question there was some sort of question about like beefing with each other and whatever, and they were just like, well, no, we've got mutual respect, and we know we're probably the 2 fastest, most experienced guys on the grid, and we've got respect for each other in that sense, and we'll have a good fight. So, and then that was it. They just sort of completely dismissed it. You're like, well, that's fair enough, but the media will always try and big it up, and then that will translate onto social media and blah, blah, blah.
But you don't think on social media people are taking it way out of context and going, having a go of Vettel and Hamilton respectively and just going all out on them?
I think the weirdest one that I saw was people saying that Haas called the virtual safety car out on purpose. That was the weirdest one that I saw, because they're technically, well, they're not, but they are like a junior team or like a like a pal of.
Yes,
but like that is just the strangest story I think I've seen in my whole life. Like,
I saw that a few times.
It's just why, like, it's just silly, so silly. Like, for me, it's because a lot of people on Twitter nowadays who we know are children. I don't want to talk about it again, but it does go in the full circle.
It does, yeah.
And they'll find anything to beef, etc. So we've talked about it before, but regardless of what topic it is, there's always going to be people are going to think different things, and that's social media for you. But yeah, it starts getting a bit weird when people just start blaming random shit, and I think a lot of Lewis Hamilton fans are quite toxic. And then, obviously, if you're a fan of another driver and you've got a couple of Lewis Hamilton fans giving it large, you're just going to lap that up and try to see how far you can take it.
There are a few things that both of them say, like both Lewis, or be it Raikkonen, or be it Vettel, and I'm like, wait, what? And then I see someone underneath that talking absolute shite, but I have the mental control to just scroll past it and be like, you're an idiot, not talking to you.
Rickson doesn't.
No, but you don't have to have it as long as you can argue facts. But like Rickson said, Haas called the virtual safety car. Sure, they'll lose a few millions to potentially help. I mean, that's just people being idiots.
Couldn't find the English word.
Idiocy.
Idiocy. That's the one I was looking for.
But the thing is that Haas are in an absolutely perfect position to be best of the rest.
Yeah.
In that 4th place, which gets them an absolute ton of money, and right now they are nowhere near that in terms of points. Obviously, there's a long way to go in the season, but those points could have really helped them.
They could have helped them. But there's one thing I don't understand, and this just personal. I'm not a massive Hamilton fan. Like, sometimes he says things Like what he said during the press conference, you're like, all right, we get it, you cocky twat. And then today after the race, he said to like Formula One media and everyone, like, oh, I can't believe what went wrong. I'm in disbelief. I did everything what I supposed to. Well, today you just lost because of a bit of luck. Also against someone that at just today on this track at this very moment was superior than you. Take it. That's how I would take it. But I can imagine Vettel fans being like, what a cocky asshole. But fair enough. But what has Vettel ever like done wrong apart from driving for Ferrari and being German?
No, I think, yeah.
He's more, and I put this in between brackets, likable. Like at charity events, he actually shows up, or F1 live events, he actually shows up.
I get that, but because of the country that Lewis is from, being England, he's gonna become a lot more famous than Vettel. I mean, because the culture in England's a lot different, and if you can get famous in any kind of way, the media's going to be all over you, and you know they're going to milk it.
Yeah. But I just don't really get the hate towards Vettel. I mean, he can be a whining bitch, but actually, it wasn't that bad.
I think both. Yeah. Well, I think both of them matured recently, but yeah, I sort of don't get it. Surely we're about to again witness a great season between them two.
It's just to spice up the sport because they can't have real life fights. It's not like they're on like a pitch, you know, and there's grass. Like they can't swing for each other to make it spicy or start shouting at each other to make it spicy. So they have to do it in their own way, which is the press conferences. But also I saw a really good comment from a guy on Twitter who basically said they ask like the journos ask such shit questions.
Yeah, that's true.
They just give shit answers and start beef with themselves for a joke because they're asking such crap questions. Like I can't remember which one I saw, but regardless, it was a really pointless question that literally meant nothing. They just asked for the sake, you know.
Yeah, for the sake of trying to get something.
You can clearly tell that they don't like doing it because they always get the same people every week, and the people who don't go on there and don't talk much are the people who aren't that famous, aren't that well known, you know.
Yeah.
The thing is if that carries on, I can see there being the way that F1 is going with the whole online media stuff. I could see that the questions being put to the fans for the press conference, and then that would just get rid of journalists.
Imagine, as much as I love the sport, they are all a bit lazy. And I don't think they would want to get someone to sift through like a million questions to find something to ask the drivers. And even then, it would just be like, Lewis Hamilton, can you tingle my gooch while I'm
It would be as well, wouldn't it?
It would be, no, I agree.
Like most voted question.
It would be like, Lewis, Daddy, eat my ass. Like, no, we're on TV.
I think it is good. A good method, but you'd have to have so many filters on certain words.
Rickson, now that he said, I can't read out, I'm on TV. When they park their cars, you know, normally they go to the the cool down room. But here was a bit of a, like a hallway. And you got a screen there that puts up tweets.
Yeah.
In the background, it was like, haha, who's laughing now? I was like...
No, because they started to do that. Because when when Lewis won the championship, they were putting up all the tweets of "Oh, congratulations, blah blah blah." But obviously, that's definitely going to go wrong.
It's just like I said, they're lazy, so it's just random shit.
Well, yeah, you can see that by when they lined up after qualifying, they still had the old logo on the positions.
Oh, what the hell was that?
I know.
It was like they brought this new branding and they brought a new logo. And then they arrive for the first race, and the marshals are lining up the things, and two of them are going taps the other one and goes, "Shit, mate, it's the old logo." And they kind of look at each other and go, "Shit."
I'm pretty sure that's how it actually went.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody will notice?
Someone put that up to put that on the grid.
Mate, it's too late anyways. Just put it down. No one will notice.
Yeah.
Put it down, walk away, and never think about it again.
Same with the last name versus last name. You know, there's an IT guy going, "Oh fuck." Do you think anyone noticed? And by the time I got a picture of it, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be popular on Twitter." It already was being put up 50 times.
Everyone has done it.
Millions of people saw that. If you were the first, fly over and personally tap you on the shoulder or the back or whatever the saying is.
Obviously, Guido Bantegard was one of the first one to see it.
Honestly.
Do you see the Sirotkin out?
I was there actually.
Yeah,
He actually made a few. Kev out.
Did he? I didn't see that one.
Rom out.
All right. It gets a bit stale, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, props to the first one, but after that it got a bit crap. But
yeah, a bit meh.
I think
never get high on your own supply.
Yes, exactly. I think it sort of rounds the race bit off. It was, like we said, I think there were good and bad moments. I think, the last sort of 15-20 laps just reminded me of last season. It was so processional, and it was just like, please don't be like this the whole season. And I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I do have to say though, adding the third DRS in, definitely there was a few moves made off the back of DRS. Definitely allows cars to get closer, and maybe that's the thing to do for other tracks as well. I don't know. DRS. Maybe
I think they're going to look to do it.
Maybe that it won't help you overtake. Well, won't create overtaking moves on that straight. But it will definitely get the person closer who's behind to maybe in a couple of laps time, or even at the next DRS straight, they're just closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sets up a move rather than does one.
Ricardo made a move, and I can't remember anyone else, but you did see a lot of them creeping.
Dive bombs.
Yeah.
But on the topic of Ricardo, he got what is it? DHL fastest lap award.
Was he? Nice.
Yeah, just looking
for some pace.
Yeah, I'm looking through the fastest time. So obviously you got Ricardo, and then Ferrari, Mercedes, Ferrari, Verstappen, then the two McLarens, and then you got Bottas.
Amazing. If Bottas, when he had any free air, just had no pace.
Bottas he's going to be so kind of, there's no point in being in that Merc, to be brutally honest with you.
Do you think you'll go at the end of the season?
I could see him ended up sixth in the championship.
Yeah.
Behind both the Ferraris and
the only reason they've got him in is because there's no one else.
Well, it's rumoured it's Ocon or Ricardo for that next seat. If he doesn't perform before halfway through the season, he's gone.
That's sick. I'd want Ocon over Danny Rick for sure, because I think him and Max are going to be in Red Bulls for years. I think they both suit the Red Bull mould.
Yes.
But although saying that, I could see Max at Merc at some point. I know that's been talked about a lot. It's like people's dream drives would be Lewis and Max at Merc. Because
why are we going? Sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead. No, I'm just thinking. Are we going to Bahrain in 2 weeks? No, I was just scrolling and I was like, wait, have we been saying Bahrain wrong the entire time? And then I saw China 2017. I was like, wait, what?
Okay, that's fine. So you're paying for us to go to Bahrain, yeah?
Cheers, Dad.
Oh, I thought it was China. That would have been cheaper.
Granddad. It's because he's old.
It gets worse. I get older on Tuesday.
Oh, no.
No. Oh,
Ken, do you get your free bus pass on next week?
Next week.
You're a nurse. Start turning up.
Or... why do you think I switched to vaping? You just expand my lifespan.
I only have so many years left.
Oh dear me.
Amazing.
So we've now established it is Bahrain next week. It's like we said. I think we said the extra DRS zone. I reckon add another one to Bahrain then, because there's two potential places they could have it: before the last turn or going up to turn 4.
The final straight before the second to last and then the last corner. That straight there. If they had one there, you imagine that you can round that corner before the second to last, because that's quite tight. Activate DRS, get right up behind the car behind to then go around the final corner, possibly make a move there, and then still have DRS for the DRS straight. You imagine the amount of overtakes you would see.
Oh, that's right.
If they had
pretty much back 13.
if they had pretty much back-to-back DRS straights. you would see a ridiculous amount of overtaking. And
Or they could
that's the
put
thing
it.
I see.
Sorry, Rickson, I keep talking over you. Or they could put it after turn 3, which is also a bit of not as long.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah, but it's
uphill
not
as well.
it's-
So
Oh yeah.
I think before the second to last corner to last would be good because it's quite wide, so you could push them out wide.
Oh,
Maybe have
That would
four.
be popular.
Maybe have them down both of the straights that don't have them. Fuck it. Let's just have the whole track.
Just
with
have four.
DRS on
Let's just
one.
have a
four
whole-
DRS zones.
Let's do
What
it
like they used to do in qualifying where you could open the DRS.
whenever
track.
you wanted. Yeah, exactly like that. Exactly.
But yeah, Bahrain can be good, it can be bad. It really depends on the conditions and the race, really. But I wanted to get everybody's predictions, as always. Start with Rickson last time, so I'm going to start with December this time. Who do you fancy as your top 3 and pole?
I'm just googling Bahrain Grand Prix weather. Fuck.
Weather?
Hot.
What's weather?
Weather.
What's
You
weather?
will not find anything
Weather.
if you Google the weather.
Do you know the way?
Yeah.
No, but it sounds like.
Especially out-
Right. It's not gonna rain, so I'm gonna be sensible.
It's in the desert.
It's not gonna rain.
It's not going to rain anyway.
It never rains in Bahrain.
That's- Your Google search is like, this guy must be so fucking stupid. Rain in Bahrain. The answer, just in big block capitals, no. Never.
It is humid, so
Yes, the desert.
That's hot.
I bet
Right.
Ken's Google just goes, oh, not again. Every time Ken
Wow.
types anything.
I mean, global warming and everything.
Foreign Google must be absolutely shite.
Do you remember
Oh
that?
my
Do you remember the little that little paperclip guy that bounces around on your PC?
Oh, yeah,
Bet
yeah.
Ken got one. He's
Work.
like just like the hand on head every single time Ken starts
Yeah.
typing anything.
Don't
Ken
press
definitely
search,
uses
Ken.
Ask Jeeves rather than.
Honestly,
That's why he's got such shit answers.
Right, go
Like-
on predictions, Ken. Go on.
the whole climate goes tits up this week, and it rains this Sunday. You better fucking thank me in the podcast.
you imagine?
Imagine.
I will legitimately apologise.
I'm gonna be
Years ago,
sensible for this one. I'm gonna go Vettel on pole,
Oh God.
and then Lewis for P1, Vettel for P2, Verstappen P3.
I thought you were gonna. Okay. Max and P3 is a little bit.
Causa.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know. You see, I reckon Hamilton for Hamilton to win, and then I was going to go. Oh, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say Ricardo Raikkonen.
Ooh,
Ooh.
bold. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go with that.
All right, Rickson.
I'm gonna go Lewis for the win. Lewis for pole. Lewis for the win. Vettel second. Kimi third.
Oh, okay. Kimi's going to keep up that performance.
He
Is
looks-
this the first
he's
time
looked-
Rickson's gone for Kimi on the podium?
He's
ever?
looked really good all this weekend, and you've got to feel that
Yeah.
he's racing for a drive next season. Personally, maybe not next season, but the season after, he's racing to keep that Ferrari seat. Or he might call it a day, but if he's not planning on it, he needs to do really well this season because he's been. I'm going to say quiet the last few seasons. He hasn't really done much.
Mm.
That's like, oh my God, Kimi's won a race. Oh, Kimi's done this. He's got pole. You know, he needs some of that this season if he wants to get a decent drive at some point.
Yeah,
before
definitely.
Before he calls it quits.
Rickson, you went Lewis pole, and then Lewis first, Vettel second, and then Raikkonen.
Yep, that's right.
I'm just writing it down so there's no cheating anymore.
Because that definitely wasn't me last season. It's just random shit.
You're never here last season.
Oh, true.
Oh.
He turned up the first half.
Give me about 3 weeks and I won't be here.
At least he's honest.
As soon as Lewis starts losing again, and the season starts becoming kind of like that, it doesn't matter anymore. You won't see me. I'll say I'm busy doing stuff, but I'll actually be asleep.
or
Right,
playing
Alex, you got
Fortnite.
prediction?
Yes.
Or playing Fortnite.
Right. So after my disastrous prediction,
You went for
last
Brendan
time-
Hartley. I mean, what did you expect?
I mean, odds on you going Brendan Hartley again, though. For
Well, no, I did get pole right. I did say Lewis Hamilton. I think so. You know, I think that was Okay.
Wait, you got the most obvious person for pole. Well done.
Congratulations.
Well
You were the sheep. Let's get it, 'cause it's 12.
I do
you got
love,
Lewis
love my
for
shit.
pole
funny
this
it.
week then.
Okay, so Lewis for pole. Then I go Lewis to win, Vettel second, and Bottas third.
Is it?
God, Bottas, is it?
We've just been roasting Bottas for
I
half
know
an
we
hour.
have. He's going to have a lovely 2-week break. He's going to chill out in Finland, do a bit of ice drifting, and he's going to come back into the game and smash it.
And do some ice drifting on track and smash it in the first wall he sees.
Well, yeah,
Can I just say, Duke,
Yeah.
you'd have been better to go for Hartley. Because at least then
I
you can get it wrong
I think
regardless.
Hartley has more of a chance than Bottas of getting.
And if he doesn't, then you're not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not changing my mind. I'm sticking to my guns.
You sure you don't want to go Hartley for third either?
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Because now it sounds like he's stuck in two minds about it. Like, mate, it's fine. It's fine. If you want to go with Hartley, go.
We'll let you go for Hartley.
I'm not going to judge.
A bit of me wanted Sainz to finish on the podium today, just so he could be violently sick on the podium.
Yeah. Imagine that. He's like, rather than like holding up his
takes his helmet off, and it's just like.
Lovely.
Rather than doing a shoey, he like takes his shoe off and.
That's the opposite of a shoe.
But what do you do at a moment like that when your team manager, like when your driver says, "I'm a bit ill"? What do you say? At a
Well,
moment
it was like that thing with Weber.
Mm.
Remember when?
Yeah, when he's like legitimately throwing up while talking to his engineer.
you would just have to come in and you'd have to try and like you imagine you're in like a sweaty helmet and now you've just been sick in it. Man.
You know the night races at Singapore when you can see through the visor.
He's like really queasy and he's like half of his visor is just swimming
like crying over his visor.
Did anyone ever?
He has like goggles on. He can sit underneath his visor.
Did anyone ever watch the Jackass episode when Steve-O wears the helmet
the gas mask?
He farts into it, and I just imagined that with Mark Webber just spewing into the helmet. That was gross. That episode. Oh god.
Are we actually going to end this podcast on that?
No, we have to finish on something decent.
All right.
Well,
come on. When does this podcast ever have any decent content in it? Never.
For the viewers who are listening, we've just got a picture of Steve-O spearing into a space helmet. Let's call it.
No, but right.
Look, we put in the YouTube video.
That's definitely worse for Mark Webber than Steve-O because Steve-O there he's got spacey in that fishbowl.
He can take it off.
He would have literally had his eyes in his own sick. Like, terrible.
I mean,
all right, let's move on.
One thing.
Does someone want to say driver of the days for this race?
Yeah. Okay. Go on. We'll finish on driver of the day. I'm gonna go with.
Are you gonna go Brendan Hartley for this one as well?
Well, he was last on lap one.
If you really want to go for Brendan Hartley, go for it. I mean, I'm not going to stop you. I don't think Alex and Ken are going to stop you. So if you really want to go for it, mate.
Is this going to be a reoccurring joke all season now? Just like,
Hartley,
Brendan Hartley. Right. Yeah, Brendan Hartley.
All right, Alex. So
just
Chute's weirdly gone for Hartley.
Yeah.
Who's your driver of the day?
God, who's your driver of the day?
Brendan Hartley.
Okay.
He was last on lap one and finished 15th. He did well.
He's now a meme.
He finished 15th because 5 people retired.
Exactly.
What a good result, though.
Exactly.
Like, that's quality. 15th. Yeah.
He's only 5 positions off the points. I mean, that was so close.
Oh, Christ. Oh, God. That tickled me, that dude. That tickled me.
Oh, dear.
That tickled me.
Go on, Alex.
Brendan Hartley, Alex.
No, because I'm not delusional. I was
delusional.
Either.
No, you just have to be fucking stupid if you say anybody other than like someone who's actually made up a few.
I was either going to give it to Fernando Alonso or Charles Leclerc.
Leclerc, why?
For giving the worst car not last.
That wasn't English.
That wasn't
please
English.
Worst
rephrase-
car, not last.
Did you talk about
Please
English?
rephrase the sentence, Alex.
For putting the worst car not last. There you go. That.
You've just said the same thing again.
For not finishing last with one of the worst
Yeah, for not
cars
finishing
around.
last in the worst car. Thank you.
There we go. The foreigner
Correct
has to
language.
tell you how to speak English.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, farmer is hardly English, to be fair, though. So
That's very true.
you can understand why he'd struggle.
Right, so you got Leclerc then. Rickson?
Well, see, it's a difficult one because there was nobody that really stood out, but I think I'm going to have to go with one of Alex's options and say Fernando. I think I'm going to go with Fernando. P5 in that new car is very, very good, and we know that he's a fucking insanely good driver. I'd say behind Lewis, he's the second best driver on the grid, and especially because he's pretty old as well, to be able to pull that out in that car in its debut race is that's hardcore, man. So yeah.
All right then. Good answer.
Right.
Samba, to finish it off.
I wanted to go Alonso or Leclerc, but I want to be a special little snowflake. So
What, gay?
Nah,
Alex would love you.
I have to agree, Alonso. But
You can't pick the same answer as me. Pick something different.
all right,
No,
then
he doesn't have to.
then either Hulk for finally showing that he can drive because he kept Bottas behind him, and Haas. I just feel so bad for the guys because they were fined $10,000 or euros
Oh dear.
after the race. So you get both retirements, and then the FIA goes, "Fuck you," even more, and they give you a fine. So they are team of the day for me.
Seven's gone for a team of the day.
Yes, because no matter, you're already American, so life's already bad, and then this shit happens.
Let's put this into context. Ken's put a team that fucked up both their cars and didn't finish the race as team of the day.
No,
Yes, because they're gonna come back stronger.
That doesn't work.
up until the fuck up, they were on for like 5th and maybe 8th.
Yeah.
You
Max
know,
was struggling to keep up.
and
Up.
especially because Max obviously was having so many issues. It wasn't even the driver's fault. So technically, you could still go for one of the Haas drivers, as they both
K-Mag.
mental races. Yeah, I mean, if somebody had said fucking somebody else and there was nobody else left to go with, I would have said K-Mag. He was fucking.
Yeah.
He was 5th, Matt. Like,
It was fourth.
well, yeah, 4th, 5th, wherever
Yeah,
he was. I wasn't really watching it, but he was doing all right. He was doing all right.
As we've done driver of the day, I've just thought of, should we have dick of the day for the race?
Brendan Hartley.
I was going to say dick of the day was the Haas mechanics.
My dick is dick of the day.
I mean, you just there was a lovely thought behind the question, and then you just have to ruin.
You weren't.
Ruin.
Come on. You really thought that you would get through, especially all three of us, with that dick of the day. Come on. I'll give it to Lewis Hamilton's dog. There you go. It's good. You seen it?
Well, can I give it to you instead?
You can if you want. I'm glad. Take
There we
it.
go. Right, I've changed my mind. I'm going to give it to Rickson.
And I'm gonna pass it over to Brendan Hartley.
Okay.
Having the worst haircut I've ever seen. That's my dick of the day, Brendan Hartley.
Right. Okay. You broken causer.
I'm actually dying.
Oh, it wasn't that funny. Oh,
I mean, Ollie has just given you dick of the day.
that's fine.
No, it's a nice dick.
Oh, thank you.
Well, there goes the explicit rating on iTunes.
It was gone at the start, Ken. Right, so Ken
That's
and
the noisiest
Causer.
thing you've ever said to me. You know that?
I think it is, yeah. So Ken and Causer, your dick of the days. To finish off the podcast.
My gentleman's sausage of the day goes to McLaren did great today, but whoever was supposed to inform Alonso that he could overtake Verstappen during the safety car and decided to wait 3 fucking years, he gets dick of the day, because Verstappen was supposed to drive an F1 car and wave with his hand through in between the car and the stupid halo, and it just looked out of comedy capers. It looked so fucking stupid. Like, all you could see were like a few fingers like wiggling, where normally you could just wave. It just looks so stupid, and the whoever's in charge of putting out the team call to Alonso, he gets dick of the day because he's the only one I can think of.
Right, that's a very good point. It did look like Verstappen's hand was deformed, like he only had one arm fully grown when he was trying to wave outside the halo.
Please don't put this back to Kubica.
No, I wasn't going to do that. I was not going to do that.
Oh, that's dark.
I wasn't going to do that. I was not going to do that. I was not going to do that. Alex, who is your dick of the day before this gets too dark?
I was going to say Bottas for the quali bottle. I was just going to put that.
Right, okay. That's okay. Right, good idea.
Because he forced the Mercedes drivers to work an all-nighter.
Yeah.
There we go.
Can you imagine being one of them? Fucking hell.
Exactly, working all night for him to crash. Right, so I think that ends the podcast for today. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter. It will all be below. Check out the iTunes link and the Android if you want to download it and listen to it on the go. I do highly recommend that. Let us know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Go check out everybody on all social media will be down below in the description, and we shall see you in I think a week's time. We've got a special podcast coming out, but then 2 weeks for the Grand Prix. So we'll see you in a little bit. Good night.